Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Miel Hebraica, Hebrew Honey, and today we're continuing our studying with Joshua 2. I found out that the more studying you put into this passage, the more interesting things appear. So it's a very interesting passage, a very personal passage. Its main focus is the life of Rahab and what happened when the two spies arrived in Jericho. And of course, very much the interaction then of God's people with the pagan people, and just what happened. Why did things turn out the way they did? And Rahab is mentioned in a positive vein in the New Testament. She's in the genealogy of Matthew 1, and she's also in the book of James and also in the book of Hebrews. And in the Hebrews, it's a hero of the faith. So very interesting use of a person who had a very interesting career. So let's get into it. And Joshua, son of Nun, sent out from Shittim 2 men spying secretly. Shittim is the Acacia Grove. Hebrew, Va-Yeshala, Yehoshua bin Nun, Min Ha-Shittim, Shanaim, Anashim, Merregalim, Heresh. Shala is a prefix form of to send out, and this is going out or sending out. This one's a causative then of Hifil, to send somebody. So Yeshala. Yehoshua, this is Joshua, and means Jehovah saves. And to understand the book of Joshua, we have to understand it isn't so much the people conquering the land, but it's Jehovah doing it. So we picked this up a little bit from the name here, Yehoshua. Okay? Yehoshua. Bin Nun, reduction of the ben here to Bin Nun, son of Nun. Min, Ha-Shittim, this is an independent preposition here. And Shittim are the acacia trees. Acacia wood it's one of the few trees that does grow in the Midbar, in the desert of that area. It's very useful wood for making parts of the tabernacle or even parts of the ark. And so it's a very important wood for the desert. Shittim is also the place in which Deuteronomy is apparently written. So this is a big step or a big phase in the life of God's people as they depart Shittim. So from here, the planning has to take place. The tribes that were going to settle into the Transjordan, they have conquered the territories they're going to have, and now the next big step is before them, to cross the Jordan and to enter the Promised Land and follow on with what was God's will for that place. So Min Ha-Shittim, from the acacia woods, plural here. Shanaim, Anashim. Shanaim, of course, is a dual. The sequence of Patah, Yod Hirik Mem is the dual form. And we see it in names like Mishraim or Yerushalayim. And quite often with parts of the body, Yadayim, Anayim, Oshnaim, and so forth. This dual is a very, very well-known method of talking about two people, or two things. So the dual. So Shanaim, Anashim, that's the two men. Very brave men here, I would say. The espionage is a very dangerous occupation. Those who get caught will get executed, and so they realized it. We also have to recognize that Joshua here was in his when they traveled up from the south, he was one of the spies, one of the 12 spies, the only one of the two spies that gave a positive report on what they were able to do or what God would do for them. And so he understands the business of spying. So they wanted to know really what the thought or the thinking was among the people. They could stand across the Transjordan and look at the geographics and the river and the roadways and stuff from there, but to actually sense of what the people were thinking about or what was on their hearts, Shanaim, Anashim, send a couple of men to find out what the locals are, what's happening in the society over in Jericho. Regalim is regal is the foot. Okay, the And the foot is what's used for traveling around, for walking around, for hiking around, regal, and to walk around. And then you make this a plural, hirik yod mem, and then that mem on the front here makes this a noun. So those who are walking around, okay, those who are walking around. It's expanded form of a participial form. So and we translate then as spies in the plural. Heresh. Heresh. It's a segolate, two segols in a row here. So accenting for segolate is going to be miel towards the top, and this is, we see that here with a nice muna in the accent. I think we see it also in the Sasson. I've been working from this version here because this is the older version and sometimes a little bit hard to read. So when it's clear here, I'll be using it here. When it's nice and clear here, we'll use it up here. Okay, so Yehoshua ben Nun min Hashittim. So Joshua son of Nun sent out from Shittim 2 men spying secretly. Heresh. Heresh is sometimes, often actually, used in a negative sense, and so yeah, things that are kind of under wraps, or things that you wouldn't want to talk about very clearly. So heresh, okay. Lebor leku reu et haaretz ve'et Jericho ve'yelaku ve'yebou beit. And saying, this is to say. Whenever you have a lamed of purpose in front of a verb, this is going to be an infinitive in order to say, and the translation will often be using participles to translate to this. And this word is then used for introducing direct discourse. In other words, whatever Joshua said, this is what he said right here, saying go, laku, reu, and then we have a pair of imperatives right here, laku, reu, go, walk. This is the shorter form of halach. Okay, halach is the full form, and reu here, this is the shorter form of rei. That's resh aleph hey, and both of them have suffered what we would call elision or fetuses. In other words, they've lost the portions of their roots. I'll just say I really don't like talking about it that way because they never had it in the first place. In other words, the language started out with the base roots of the lamed kaf and the resh aleph, and from there it was built up. When we see halak, it's been added to a base root of lamed kaf. When we see rayu with a hey on it, that was added then on to the base root of resh aleph. So it's better off just learning your verbs from the base roots, from way down, from the smallest chunks you can get to. That's where you should be learning your vocabulary. So laku veru, okay, take a walk, go look at it, okay, go and see the land, okay. Et haaretz, direct object marker here, also an article in the front of aretz, and then aretz, of course, is the land, the country. Ve'et, and also again the direct object marker receiving the action of these verbs. Ve'et Jericho, okay. This then is Jericho. It's also the same thing you would call the moon. It is go see the moon, okay. And this indicates part of what's the problem of the Canaanites in this area. They dedicate their cities and their society and their peoples to worship of the heavenly bodies. And this city then was dedicated to worship of the moon. So Jericho, those moon worshippers here at Jericho. Yelaku. Now, this is laku, the imperative, and this one's an indicative of the same verb here. Yelaku, with the prefix yod here. This time it's the ending is third person here, and plural. Yelaku, and they went. Yabou, and they arrived. They came. Okay, yabou. So they're walking and they came. Bait, this is a construct form of house, a house of somebody. So we're getting to that as to who that is in the next line. Isha, zona. Whoa. Isha, zona. U Shema, Rahab. Yesh Kavu, Shama, Vayomer, Yamar, Lemelech. Okay, I'm so used to saying this Yomer with a holum here, but no, this is actually acidic comments here. So Yamar, and they said to the king, and it was said to the king. It's reflexive here. Isha, that is a woman, of course, a woman. A Zonah, prostitute, and seems like wow, an interesting situation. If you take a look at the women that are mentioned in Matthew 1, the genealogy of Matthew chapter 1, it includes Tamar, and Tamar is called Zonah by Judah, and here Rahab is called Zonah, and the Moabite women are considered Zonah, although right in the whole book of Ruth it doesn't mention Zonah, but it does the Moabite women had this reputation and so forth. So it's quite a step. Somebody who's involved in prostitution, and this particular word is still the labels is still attached to Rahab, even into the New Testament. And there it's the Greek porne, okay, the porn star. Whoa. And so it's quite a stretch here. Somebody who's in a very, very sinful lifestyle, I would say. Profession, of course, wasn't known for its moral uprightness and so forth. But this person was where they arrived. And if you're starting the layers of society, you're starting at the bottom. But it's great. It's a great teaching in that the Lord works even with those who, in the eyes of society, in the eyes of morality, are way down there, and will rescue them. And we notice this very much in the life of Jesus when he's teaching. He's got often quite many women that had very bad reputations, and yet he would talk to them and bring them to the Lord, and they would repent. And then so this is what we have to see here. This Zonah, that is prostitute, she was a prostitute, but she most certainly came to the Lord and changed her life once she joined God's people. So that was her past. Now she has a much brighter future when she meets up with God's people, meets up with Jehovah, in fact. So Isha, Zonah, Shema, and her name. This is her name. This is a peak right here, and that means that this last pronoun here is suffixed on here, and the name of her. So that's her name, Rahab. Rahab means in the modern Hebrew, Rehob is a wide avenue. In fact, there's a Tel Rehob up the valley from Jericho, and it's been excavated. Met one of the excavators once, and he says, worst place in the world to excavate because it's just so hot during the summer. So, but it's been excavated, okay? So, but it means wide. Now, in my studies of Psalm 119, I found out that this particular root is used in a very interesting way, and that is resh, chet, yod, bet, rehiv. Now, rehiv is something that's out on the open. It's wide open, a wide open space. Okay, it's something that's wide, and in a sense of when you're enslaved and when you're tied up, you're into an enclosed space, and when you're free, you're out in an open space. And so this is, in a sense of Rahab, the one who liked the open spaces, Rahiv, okay, the one who likes freedom. So that those two things go together: open spaces and freedom. So wide open spaces and freedom. Rahab, that's her name. For many years, I really didn't want to explain what her name really meant, but there's a lot to it. Okay, she's a person who looks for freedom. Yesh kavu shama, and they lodged there. They actually literally laid down there. If you want to run a cross references with this, this particular verb is used in Genesis, and it's used when the angels were coming to Sodom, and they were about to lie down for the night, Yeshkav, and then later on with Lot and his two daughters, this is what they did. Yeshkava, they laid the elder one, the younger one, and so forth, that they do with their father. So this is using some very high-powered words right here, and for those who handle Hebrew, you go, oh wow, these guys are getting into an interesting situation. Okay, Yishkabu Shama, over there. Okay, over there. Now this is the place. Shama's there. The plural would be Shamayim, that is the heavens that are up there. And this one is Shama with the hey. No mapik here. You wouldn't use a mapik in a hey that is a directional hey. So Shama. This is a directional hey then. Okay, towards there, over there. Yeah, Amer, yeah, Amar, and then it was said to the king. Okay, this is yeah, Amar. They did keep the Miel accenting of this verb, but the rest is changed enough, so it's actually a little hard for me to say it. But yeah, va ve ye Amar Lamelech, to the king. This is a nice segolate as well right over here. So, but this one, it started as a segolate, but now it has lost all segols in it. So, Melech, to the king. Richo, okay, Richo, Jericho. As I think I've said already, that this means the moon. Thus, this is the inhabitants were involved in that idolatry to heavenly bodies, and this was their particular god. So they went, and this is one of the reasons why God ordered the destruction of these peoples. These people were just very, very profoundly involved in very evil practices of worshiping the heavenly bodies. So Richo and Jericho. Lemor, saying, we've already seen this verb to say, saying, Hine, hey, this is the hey with the two hands up in the air. The base root of this particular hey is, hey, pay attention, okay? Look at this. Hey, the more traditional translation of hine is behold, and sometimes modern translations will say look, and I just take it right back to what it sounds like the most in Hebrew. Hey, hey, okay, hey, hine. Anashim, some men, okay? Anashim, men. Ba'u, came. We've seen this verb already. Third person plural of they came. Hena, to hear. Halayla, this is to hear, and this night. Basically, this introduction is covering both the time and place, okay? Hena, halayla. They came over here tonight, this night. When you have Lila just by itself without an article, it's just a night. But when you put a hey on the thing, it becomes this night. Ha, Lila. Same thing happens with this day. Okay, today, Yom, Hayom. This is how this works as well. Lila, this night. And it's interesting to see this. It does tell us a little bit of what was happening here. The spies apparently had gone to Jericho and had stayed outside the gates looking at the city, and had decided, okay, when's the best time to get into the city? Boom, at night. Okay, it's getting dark, the shadows are lengthening and so forth. The gate's still open, but so in other words, when you go inside, you're stuck inside because very soon the gates are going to be shut. And so it's a commitment you have to live with. So there they are. They arrived at night, and they snuck into the city just at nightfall. Okay, so halayla. Mebnei Israel, they're from the sons of Israel. Maybe you could see it on the clothing, could hear it on the accent. Of course, there would be some difference between Hebrew and Canaanite, and so yeah, the people who did see him come into the city, they did have a concept of who they were, and they were probably on the lookout for people like that. So, Mebnei Israel, from the sons of Israel. To search out the land, hapor et haaretz, the land, v'yeshala, and he sent. We've seen this one with Joshua already sending the spies, but now the king here, Melech Jericho, is sending a message to Rahab. So lehapor et haaretz, to spy out. Por is to actually excavate, to do even archaeological work. In other words, to dig holes, to look for things. Okay. And incidentally, if you want to have a bit of a cognate with English, to pour over things, okay, hapor, okay, hapor, la hapor, in order to pour over things, to look over things, okay, to dig through things, okay. They're here to investigate us, okay. La hapor et haris, the land, object marker here, and you can just see about half of the soft pasuk here. Where's the? Oh, I don't even see the. Oh, here's the. Yeah, Aretz. Here's the Siluk soft pasuk. Haaretz v'yeshala, and they sent. He sent. In third person singular prefix form to send, and then Melech, king. Here's something very interesting in the writing of the scribe, and I've seen it numerous times, enough so that it doesn't surprise me anymore. Mem with a Shavah, and right in here there's supposed to be another Shavah. There might have been one that just sort of wiped out over time, but this particular scribe is quite willing to leave, when he's got a pair of Shavah one after the other, he's quite willing to leave the second one out, or not even write it in. It's understood, okay? It doesn't mean that he doesn't like it, but he just simply understood there, okay? Melech, Melech. So the king, Jericho, okay, of Jericho, Jericho, the king of Jericho, El Rahab, to Rahab, okay, here it is, Rahab, double comets, a very lovely set of comets there. El Rahab, Lemor, saying, okay, sent a message off to Rahab with a certain demand here, and we're going to see what that is. Hotze, okay, Hotze. The root here is Yod Sadik Aleph, okay, Yod Sadik Aleph. You can look it up as in the dictionaries and in the electronic lexicons. That's what you'll find. Yod Sadik Ayin, to go out, to send out. This is a causative, okay, hifel, cause to send out, okay, cause to send out. The imperative hifel right here. Cause these people to send, you send these people out, okay, Hosieh. We're going to see versions of this, much simpler versions of this particular verb pretty soon, but we start out with a little bit of a complicated one here. Hotsia, send out, ha'anashim, these men, ha'baim, the ones who have come, okay, this then is participle, the ones who are coming, who have been coming, ha'anashim, ha'baim, ones who have come, elech, towards you, this is preposition towards, and this is a second person feminine pronoun here, towards you, elech. I always have a tendency to try to pronounce this last Shavah, but this is a silent Shavah, so just simply el yich, okay, el yich. Also have a hard time pronouncing the hirik right here, okay, al yich, okay, to elech, elach. Wow. To me, it just sounds like it's supposed to be two syllables, but there are apparently three syllables operating right here. El-lech-yech. Elayech, towards you. Asher, which, bao, which, and who, or they, which, bao, they came. Lebeit, lebetech, okay, towards your house. Ki, because, okay, they're here for something. Hapar, I think it is. Yeah, in order to, hapor, in order to spy, in order to dig some holes, in order to pour over the place, okay. Lehapor et kol haaretz, to all of the land. This one is a kames hatu, because it's a closed syllable with no accenting on it, so this must be the accenting for the upper line right here, okay. Et kol haaretz, towards all of the land. Both, and they came, okay. Generally verbs are not stuck at the end of sentences, but there is one right here at the very end of this sentence, and it seems to emphasize it. They've come here. You hand them over. We know that they're in your house and so forth. Hand them over, okay? So lots of excitement and decision time for Rahab. What she got to do? Obey the king, and here they are, or oh, no, I got something else to do here. So it's decision time for Rahab. So ba'u, and they came. But now this is a conjunction right here, but we have to understand it. I really should have translated here, but, okay. Telka, okay, but she took, okay, she took. This incidentally is to take something, but lakat is something that's also lakat is something that's inheritance. In other words, she's taking this, but taking hold of it, and incidentally, we can get back to what we call a very original root meaning of the kaf here. The kaf is a rope that you hold on. There's a knot on the top. You hold on to it, and you grab onto it. Okay, so this is just literally means to grab onto the rope. Okay, lakat, but she had grabbed. Okay. But she grabbed, she took, Haisha, that is the woman, this is the subject of this particular verb. The woman then took, et shene. Now, this is just simply the number. It's no longer the dual. We started out with a shenaim, and but this time it's been reduced a little bit down to a little shorter version of shene, the two, hanashim, the men, the two men. Va, ti, tse, ponu, but she hid them. Okay, she hid them. And Watomer, and she said. So this is this time it's a little easier to pronounce. It still has the Miel accenting on it, so it makes it easier. Tomer, Holem. Yomer would be he said, and Tomer is she said. So he said, she said. Okay, Yomer, Tomer. Watomer. A little bit of cantillation. This is for just simply spacing out how you're going to say things in a row. This is still a resh here. It looks like a hey, but no, it's still resh. Okay, Watomer. Ken, yes, most certainly. Okay. Now in our text right here, the Rebbe is put up very strongly, but this is just a little dot here for the Rebbe. Okay, Ken, yes, okay, most certainly, yes, yes. Ba'u, they came. Again, we've seen this verb numerous times. It's one of the common verbs in this passage. Eli, towards me. Okay, look at the llama. It's got a nice long tree on it. Okay, the top part of it, 3 or 4 times the height of the rest of the letter. So this is one of the we're at the top of the middle column here of the reading, and so there was space to push the llama up higher than normal. Scribes had a competition to see how high they could get their lamas. So here, Eli, towards me. Ha-anashim, that is the men. Okay, ha-anashim. And yeah, this is comments, and then anashim, the men. Velo, and not. Okay, yadati, I did not know. I don't know. This is yada is to know something. Yada, very same verb we find at Genesis chapter 4. That is Adam knowing his wife. Yada. Okay, but didn't know them. Okay, yadati, I don't know them. Okay, yadati. Me'ayin, from where? Okay, from where? Hema, they were. Okay, I didn't know where they were from. Out, lie apparently, and I suppose that when people's lives are at risk, and then when you have to do this, you do it. Okay, so yadati, I didn't know from where they are. But and then it so happened, the verb for haya, to have positioned something or to place something, in Hebrew isn't set really for explaining existence of something. Hebrew most assumes that things exist, that things that you're talking about do exist. Okay, so that's an assumption. But here, yehi means that they're going to position this in terms of time and place. Okay, yehi, and then it happened. Hashar, when the gate, and it just so happened that when the gate, okay, Hashar, Shigor was closed, Bahoshik in the night, in the darkness, and then this was the start of a word, but he didn't finish it, so there's no pointing on it, there's no vowel on it, so it's really this word right here. When he really did start the scribe starts copying it for real here. Veha anashim, and the men, yatsau, they went out. Okay. Velo yadati, and I don't know. Ena, where. Okay. Halaku anashim, where the men went walking. Okay. Third person plural right here. And again, the complete root right here, as you'd find it in the dictionary. Although I've already told you the base root is lamed kaf, but here you do have the hey lamed kaf. Okay. Halaku anashim. Ridifu, chase them down, go after them. Meher, really quickly. Meher, make it happen quickly. Ridifu, and this then is an imperative here. Go chase them. Ridifu. We're going to see this word a lot as a noun, but here it is a verb. Chase them down. Meher, acharecham. Chase them after them. Achar, after them. Okay, acharecham. Ki. Jigum, so that you can capture them, you can catch up with them. Jigum, okay. Acharecham jikum, you can catch them. Tashigum, so they would be captured. Vehi, and I'm up to verse end of verse 5. So we're starting verse 6. From here, I'm just going to simply read it to the end, because then I won't be taking so much time. I'll start the explanation of the next program here on verse 6. So I've been putting in the versification at the point where I do want to end each reading of each portion. So, Vehi he altem hagaga ve tit menem be nashti be pishte ha'etz ha'arukot la al-hagag ve'ha'anashim ridifu acharechem derech ha'yarden al ha'burot ve'ha'shar zagaru achere ke'asher yetzu ha'rodifim Acharechem vehema terem yishkebun vehi alta alechem al hagag vatomer al hanashim yadati ki natan Yehovah lachem et haaretz Ki nafla im matechem alenu ki namogu kol yoshbe haaretz mefanechem ki shamanu et asher Hobish Yehovah et me yamsuf me fanechem be setechem me mishraim be asher ashitem leshane malche haomerim asher be ever hayarden leshihon u leog Asher her metem otam va nishma va yemas lebabenu velo kama od ruach be ish me fanechem ki Yehovah Elohechem hu Elohim ba shemaim Ma'al ve'al haaretz metahat ve'ata hishshivu na li be'yehwa ki ashiti imachem chesed ve'ashitem gam atam עם בית אבי חסד, ונתתם לי אות אמת, והייתם את אבי ואת אמי ואת אחי ואת אחותי ואת כל אשר לכם, והצלתם את נפשתנו ממוות. ויאמרו לך האנשים, נפשנו תחתיכם למות, אם לא הגידו את דברנו זה, והיה בתת יהוה לנו את הארץ. ויעשנו עמך חסד ואמת, ותורדם בהבל ועד החולון, כי ביתה בקיר החומה, ובחומה היא יושבת. ותאמר לכם, אחרה לכו, פן יפגעו בכם הרודפים, ונחבאתי שמה. שלושת ימים עד שוב הרודפים, ואחר תלכו לדרככם. ויאמרו אלך האנשים, נקים אנחנו משבועתך הזה, אשר הושיבתנו, והנה אנחנו באים בארץ את תקוות חוט השני הזה, תקשרי בחלון אשר הורדתנו בו, ואת אביך ואת אמך ואת אחיך ואת כל בית אביך, תשפה אליך הביתה. והיה כל אשר יצא מדלתי ביתך ההוצא דמו בראשו. ואנחנו נקים בכל אשר יחיה איתך בבית דמו בראשנו. יד תחיה בו, ואם תגדי את דברנו זה, והיינו נקים משבועתך אשר הושיבעתנו, ותאמר כי דבריכם כן היו תשאלתכם, וילקו ותקשור את תקוות השני בחלון, וילקו ויבואו אחרה וישבו שם 3 ימים עד שבאו הרודפים, ויבקשו הרודפים הדרך ולא משעו. וישבו שני האנשים וירדו מההר ויעברו ויבואו אל יהושע בן נון וישפרו לו את כל המושעות אותם. ויאמרו אל יהושע כי נתן יהוה בידינו את כל הארץ וגם נחמוגו כל יושבי הארץ מפנינו.